Hey there, lovelies. It's Sarah Leonard here from auraangelart.etsy.com. And I just thought I'd give you a little lowdown on the art supplies I use to create this journal spread. So this is a double spread, which is not something I always do in my journal. Quite often it's single pages rather than double pages, more typically, when I look back through. So it's a little bit unusual for me to go with the double page spread. But I haven't been painting for quite a while, or at least not recording myself. So I thought I'd just let myself play around a little bit with this one. So I have used, I'll try and go in the kind of order of the layers. So I had all of these lovely printable collage sheets. So these kind of lovely things. One with notebooks with floral designs on. These look like French newspaper articles overlaid with flowers. Some of them are from Vintage by Me, and some of them are from Pink Monarch Prints. There are loads of these available on Etsy if you want to get hold of them. And I also used some of the words. So these files, you get them as digital files, so you can download them, and then you can basically print them and use them as often as you'd like to. So you can see that I've gotten stuck into using those today for the first time. So those were kind of the first layers of the piece. Once I had those in place, I did a little layer of sepia India ink. This is PH Martin's. And I also did some little fancy dot work with my Jane Davenport Fine Line bottle, and that has white acrylic ink inside. When I was looking at the design, I kind of decided to keep the flower from the original collage page and make that part of my angel, and the same on this side, but with the little bird sitting on top of her head, which I think is quite cute. It kind of dictated the layout a little bit for me, which is a little bit unusual, but that's what I decided to go with today. And in the background, I also used some of these new to me watercolors. So these are Decadent Pies, that's what this one is called. And it's got lots of lovely kind of vintagey almost shades in that one. And then the other set that I used, which is lots of metallics in, that one's called Shimmering Lights. So those were Christmas presents, actually. That's the first time I've used those today on the art journal spread. So those I used mostly in the background, some in the hair and in the little dresses as well. I also used quite a lot of my old favourites. So for the first layer of shading on my girls' faces, I used these Caran d'Ache Neo Art bars. If you don't have these, they don't make them anymore. You can just use the Neocolor 2s, and you'll have seen me use those quite a lot in the journal pages, particularly for the first layers for the hair and those kinds of things. So those are all just watercolor crayons. Also for the hair, I used a little bit of my Tombow markers. I quite like those, they're quite nice and pigmented. For the collage, I used Mod Podge Matte. That's my favourite gluing medium at the moment. It's very easy to get hold of as well in the UK. I also used my Graph Gear pencil for sketching out the faces, and my Prismacolor pencils. I think I mainly used, for the shading, I used sepia and sienna brown, and pink obviously for the cheeks, and crimson red and rouge Tuscan red for the lips. And then over the top of all of those, I like to use this peach colour. You can see that I like to use it because it's been sharpened so many times, and I like to sort of use that in a sort of scrubbing motion to kind of blend the colours together a little bit. I had a little bit of trouble with some of the layers beneath peeling off a little bit as I was going along today. I don't know if that's lack of practice on my part, or if it's that I've maybe left a layer underneath that's not quite dry. It's usually down to impatience generally if that happens, but if it happens, particularly in my art journal, I don't worry particularly about it. If I was really bothered with any of these little patches, I could just do another layer of my acrylic paint, which I use as the base colour, which is De La Rowney Portrait Pink. So I could just do a really thick coat of that on there and then go back in afterwards if it really was bothering me, any of these little spots. But for an art journal spread, I'm quite happy to be back in the saddle today, so I'm going to let myself off with those ones, I think. Another layer of shading I did with my Pitt pens, Faber-Castell Pitt pens, and I used cinnamon and warm grey for shading around the face, but also for shading all the way around the figures themselves. What else did I use? My initial sketches I like to do with a woody, Stabilo woody. So this is another watercolour crayon. So you could quite easily use the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s instead if you don't have these. But what I find with these is because they're quite big, it sort of forces you to be a bit loose with your sketch rather than trying to be too detailed right from the very, very beginning. Also, with it being watercolour, when you go over the top then with the colours you eventually want to use, it just kind of blends in. You don't end up with any harsh lines that you can't get rid of later on. I used my gelato, which is another watercolour thing, but these are a little bit creamier, and I used this one called Buttercream all the way around my characters just to give them a little bit of energy, to help them sort of pop off the page a little bit. And for my highlights, I used Jane Davenport's Paint Over Pen, Unicorn this one's called, it's white obviously. For the detail in the face, I used my Uniball eye pen, and I also used that, smudging it with my fingers for shading around the face. And I used my Stabilo All pencil after I'd used the gelatos, just to redefine certain areas. The brilliant thing about these pencils is they'll literally write on anything. It doesn't matter what media you've used before, they will write on anything, which is very handy. I had lots of little collage butterflies as well to choose from. You'd have seen me playing around with the positioning of all of these. I've got some of these ones which are Jane Davenport. I've got lots of others that I got from local craft shops that I just kind of cut out and use whenever I need to or whenever I want to. And I think that's what I used for the whole of this double page spread. So the words that I chose were ones that were meaningful to me at the moment. So I chose the word desire, and it gives you a little sort of dictionary definition underneath. So to wish or long for, to dream or strive for. That one just really spoke to me this morning. And then to go with that sort of overall intention, I put in live every day with intention, love your life, live your life. And I really enjoyed creating this page. There's lots of little bits here and there that I think I could have perhaps done better. I think the one thing I didn't mention was my little sparkly pens. Again, these are Jane Davenport. Can't remember what they're called actually, what the name of them is, but I love to use this gold one to add a little bit of detail into the hair. I just think it looks so pretty. But yeah, I really enjoyed creating this double page spread. I hope you enjoy watching this come together. I tried to do some different things, tried to just get my mojo back, I suppose. It's been a long time since I've recorded a video. And if you do like the artwork that I create on this channel, then please feel free to subscribe, obviously, and to like and to comment on the video. In the comments section beneath the video, in the description, I'll put a link to my Etsy shop. So if you do like my art, then at least you'll know where you can get your hands on some. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching. Bye bye.